Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion. Delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit in current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. But before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guest and repeat offender on Ron Siegel Radio. Welcome back, Taylor Wilson. Welcome.
Always good to be here.
Glad to have you with us. And let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990 or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan, a plan to save you money, I personally work with you, even if you don't have any needs today. Save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And yes, of course, we're celebrating today. We celebrate every day on Ron Siegel Radio. Let's see what they've got for us today. Find a rainbow day.
It is what it is.
I don't know about you. I was out at the beach on Sunday morning, kind of early. Some really nice rainbows out at the beach in Newport Beach. I don't know if you saw those, but nice looking rainbows out there. Today, National Tweed Day. I don't think so. Film Score Day. Okay, I probably get this one wrong, and I'll probably get some hate mail, but my idea of film score is 86 because I don't like any of them. But that's a whole different story. They are a good place up. I will admit when the cost of going to movies was cheaper, I never had a problem with it because it is a good, generally, it's a nice, quiet place to go for me to take a nap because I just go in there and fall asleep. My wife likes them. I'm always trying to find somebody that wants to go to the movies with her because I don't. I'll take them out to dinner ahead of time and drop them off. The end of the story. Having beaten anorexia, though, today is also National Chocolate Mousse Day. Now, I can go for that one. The only problem is that Josh has a good picture of this one because when I look at our service that tells us the celebrations of the day, they skipped the whipped cream. How can't you have whipped cream on National Chocolate Mousse Day, on chocolate mousse? You got to have whipped cream. And my one form of exercise, other than the 6-ounce curls that I do with red wine, National Walking Day, first Wednesday in April. I don't know why is Walking Day the first Wednesday of April. I don't know, but maybe I'll go for a walk today. Maybe I'll see if I can get the dog to go with me. No one else goes. Let's see what the markets are doing. It's been a zigzag day today. The Dow Jones Industrial Average now up 32 points. The S&P 500 is up 12 points. The NASDAQ is up 50 points. And oil up another 54 cents a barrel. Yeah, what do you think is going to happen with inflation as the oil prices keep going up? $85.69 per barrel right now. And once again, well, it looks like California gas prices may have settled. I think they were at $5.12 yesterday, They're at, well, 5.15 today. Okay, so we're up another 3 cents. Josh, you're just about getting over that $4 mark. You're at 4.47, less a half. The statewide average for Nevada, 4.47. If you go to in Josh's area, Vegas, there, you can usually take 50 cents off of that. And I will report, because don't think you could just go to Nevada and get cheap gas. Last time I went, about a month ago, maybe a little more, went there and just took a look at it. Gasoline prices right over the state line. Yeah, they were about $1 a gallon more than they are in California, $2 more than in the city. So I guess maybe they think that a lot of people are either they're on fumes getting into Nevada from California, or they forgot to fill up in the city and they don't want to pay, or they can't make it all the way to Baker, which is actually cheaper than out there at the border, out there by state line. Do I even want to see what Arion's paying? $3.08 a gallon. $3.08 a gallon. I'm gonna get ill over that one. Mississippi, of course, I guess they don't like gouging people in Mississippi. Let's see what else is going on in the world. Hey, you know something? I saw this morning. I have to do some research on it. But those of you that are in shape, like me, round's a shape still, I think. Costco, I understand, is going to have some of the weight loss pills or drugs. I don't know if they're going to have the pills or if they're going to have the shots. $179 for a 3-month supply. So I may have to go over there and check that one out. What else is going on in the world? Fed voting member, Fed's Bostic, wants to wait for the fourth quarter to cut rates. What do you think about that one? Mary Daly sees no urgency to begin reducing Fed's target interest rate. Well, why would she? She likes to spend government money. She's in San Francisco. Fed Meister still expects 3 rate cuts in 2024, but it's a close call. So we'll see what happens. I've told you for a while now, July, November, and December. That's when we're going to see the Fed rate cuts. July, November, and December. And that will have a benefit on our Home Select program at Geneva Financial. If you haven't looked into that Home Select program, it's probably just because you like paying too much money on your mortgage rate and you don't want to get it paid off early. If you've got good credit, if you've got a stable job, even if it's not stable income, even if it's variable income, the Home Select product, I'm telling you, you got to look at it. I just did another proposal for somebody. 2.26 was their effective APR on a 30-year loan. 2.26, and they're going to pay off their loan 15 years faster by not making an extra nickel in their mortgage payment. Think about that option. Let's see what else is going on. Big battle at Disney right now. So they've got a board meeting, and some of the activist investors want to make some changes. Looks like Disney's board will win. So that's interesting news right there. Still some problems with Apple. I guess they've got some issues on production. Some actually saying that the iPhone 16 may be delayed or pushed back a year. Ooh, that'll be a painful one for Apple shareholders. They were in the Magnificent 7. Maybe it's going to go down to the Fabulous 5. We might lose Apple from that, so we'll watch that one for you as time goes on. And we're going to chat today. A lot of our conversation today, we're going to be talking about insurance. Now, I've told you before, and I don't think you're going to hear this any place but on Ron Siegel Radio. I don't know anywhere that they're going to tell you this. So in California, there's so much of a difficulty for homeowners to get insurance. You know that already. We've talked about that many, many times. So where is the go-to insurer if you can't go to an insurance company? I think it's State Farm that just is cutting their portfolio back by billions of dollars. Where are you going to go? Well, you're going to the California Fair Plan. Now, what does that mean? Well, that means the state of California thinks they're an insurance company. They think they know what they're doing, like they've done anything really well fiscally in the past. But it's a $1.3 trillion liability. $1.3 trillion. Now, I certainly hope we don't have any massive catastrophic events. But do you think California was good for it? Do you think California can come up with 1.3 trillion? Look what's going on, and unfortunately, our heart goes out to the people of Taiwan right now. If we had something like that, do you think California could cover the tab? What if, like in Maryland, a bridge goes down? Again, our hearts go out to those folks in Maryland. We don't wish that on anybody. But do you think California is ready for it? We can't even fund. Well, I'm not going to go there. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, newly built homes could be a game changer this spring. Save money by understanding how credit card interest works. And home insurance, condo insurance, big issues. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you missed any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Hey there, friends. Wondering if now is the right time to buy a home? Or are you waiting for a bunch of foreclosures? The facts speak loud and clear. Defaults and foreclosures are down. Sure, we might be headed towards a recession. But did you know interest rates typically drop and real estate values often go up during a recession? So what are you waiting for? Higher prices or higher payments? Don't navigate these waters alone. Connect with RonSiegelRadio.com today. That's RonSiegelRadio.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And every day at this time, OBMMI. They provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry, calculated from actual locked rates across 35% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. They don't tell us points paid, points received, APR. They give us the number that the loan's locked at as of yesterday, and they tell us the number that you put into your mortgage calculator to find out exactly what your mortgage payment will be. If you don't have a mortgage calculator, just go to ronismylender.com. Ronismylender.com. You can download our mortgage app, and there's a calculator right there. Yesterday, 30-year conforming loans, fairly flat. They were up just a touch, 6.86. 30-year jumbo loans were up a touch, 7.14. 30-year VA loans, those were down, 6.636. 30-year USDA loans, those were up, 6.712. That's the rural areas, generally no down payment. And the best loan on the market for those that earned it. You can't just apply for this one. That would be the 30-year VA loan. Love our veterans, 30-year VA loan, 6.354. That one was down. So we have a mixed day yesterday of ups and downs. Again, it probably depends a lot on the time of day you locked. Early in the day, rates were up. They came down and recovered. Very similar to what we're seeing going on in the market today. If you want our market commentary, we do put that out each morning as early as the data allows. You can go to rsrmarketminute.com, rsrmarketminute.com, and you can get our thoughts. It's usually a 2 or 3 page, very easy to understand, simple email from me, and we put that out again each morning as early as the data allows. Right now, the S&P 500 is up 12 points. The 10-year Treasury yield, that one's up 2 basis points. That's good news. It's come back a little bit. The bond for the mortgage-backed security, down 13 basis points. That's not such good news. What's driving all this? Well, we got the ADP jobs report this morning, and we were expecting to have 150,000 jobs added. We had 184,000 jobs added. February report was revised slightly higher from 140 to 155. Most of the hiring took place at businesses with 50 or 50 or smaller employees. More than 50 employees. Sorry about that. Small businesses only added 16,000 jobs. Here's the problem with that. When we got the BS report from the Bureau of Labor Statistics last month, well, we said that there was, I think the ADP came out and said that there was only a handful of jobs created in small business. But when they do all their manipulation in the BS report from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, they came out and said there was like 150 or 160,000 jobs created. So when they do the manipulating, that's where the problem comes in. Service sector added 142,000 jobs, led by leisure and hospitality, which added 63,000. ADP also reported that annual pay for job stayers increased at 5.1%, which was unchanged from the previous month. Job changers saw an increase of 10%, which is a huge jump from 7.6% in February. But then again, you got to look deeper in the numbers, and you'll never see this in the media because they only put out the headlines. But when you look at the numbers where the pay increases came from, it was those of 16 to 24-year-olds. So think about this. When you go have a 16 to 24-year-old and they switch jobs and go from a job that was paying $15 an hour to a job that's paying $18 an hour, that's a 20% increase. Still not a great wage, but it's a 20% increase. 16 to 24-year-olds are also more likely to change jobs. So they changed, their increases was 11.6% year over year. The money demo, 35 to 54, theirs was like 5%. So think about that part. Told you a little bit. We've got Fed speakers today. Jerome Powell is going to be speaking, or he probably is as we're talking right now. Earlier today, we heard from Fed President Raphael Bostic. I told you a little bit about that in the opening block, who said he's only in favor of one rate cut this year, sometime in the fourth quarter. Mr. Bostic, let me ask you this. When did we lose the idea of data dependent? You can't believe these people. One caveat that we've been saying is he said that if we see unexpected weakness in the labor market, it's already there. They're covering it up, meaning the unemployment rate continues to increase. He'll have to revise his thoughts. Unreal. That's the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And don't forget the Home Select program, rsrhomeselect.com. If you want to cut down on the time you're going to be making mortgage payments, rsrhomeselect.com. You can get a real good understanding of how to do that in a very, very insightful way. rsrhomeselect.com. Let's chat. Taylor Wilson, Williams Insurance.
Correct.
How are you, my friend?
Not bad. How you doing?
No complaints. The insurance world is nice and calm and steady, and no major forest fires, no major floods, nothing, no landslides.
It's actually a dumpster fire.
A dumpster fire, okay. It's chaos out there right now.
It's insane.
So tell me what's going on in the market. Tell us how we can, what do we need, what are our pitfalls, or what are our strategies to deal with this?
Well, I'm telling loan officers or mortgage brokers and real estate agents to, when you're starting this process, and if your clients are getting into, looking to buy in the home and get into escrow, to contact the insurance, your current insurance company or a broker immediately. When you mentioned the FAIR plan earlier in the segment, we're having to go to FAIR plan, and
explain the FAIR plan, because I talk about it as if people know what that is.
It's California FAIR plan. It's a government run program that is technically has, when you have a FAIR plan policy, it's technically for fire only. Doesn't have any other coverage other than fire. Now it does qualify, to satisfy the loan process, so you can close with the FAIR plan, but we have to write what they call a difference in conditions policy, a DIC policy, on top of that to cover all the gaps that the FAIR plan has. So we have a California FAIR plan policy and a DIC. And that, they'll give you extra coverage for personal property liability, because the FAIR plan does not have liability on their policy, and with loss of use. So it does cover, like I said, all the gaps that the FAIR plan, has.
So there's bigger. I mean, fire is obviously an issue, but I don't know. You tell me. You're the expert. I've always felt or believed that the bigger concern that I would have is where there's more likelihood of a water hazard in my house or a water issue than a fire. Is that true?
I mean, yes. I mean, the water, back when we were in the drought, how long ago was that? Maybe
I don't know. The governor I just heard this morning said we still need to save water.
Well, when there was a drought years ago, we didn't have rain.
Right.
Water losses were up at an all-time high. That was, now when you're talking water losses, you're talking water losses within the house, pipe breaking, toilet overflowing, so that's covered under a normal homeowner's policy. Is the water outside in that is, for flood. And that's, when you need a flood policy to cover that. But
the water inside the house, is that covered by the fair pot plan?
Well, technically you'd have to have no, it's not. And that's why you have to have the difference in conditions.
So the difference in condition covers
correct.
The water.
Yes.
So that's going to be the one that's really, so you're still going to be paying, you're not getting much of a discount by taking fire off.
No, not at all. Not at all. And the other thing with the California Fair Plan is we're submitting, we're doing submissions to them. It's taken 30 plus days just to get a quote back.
30 days for a quote.
In fact, one we got back about a week ago was 45 days. So that just goes to show you the amount of fair plan policies that are being, quoted and submitted. They're technically, they're overloaded. And to get a fair plan quote back in 30 days is ludicrous. And it's just, so that's causing us to have to go, if it's an earlier closing than 30 days, I mean, I can't guarantee. Sometimes they come back in 10 days, some 15, some 30. It's just all over the board.
So let me ask you this, is the price of that insurance consumer dependent or is it property dependent?
It's property.
So if I'm listing my house, can I go and get a quote on the fair plan? And would that be, can the buyer assume that quote?
Technically, yes. Yes, they can. Yes.
So that's kind of a strategy that a listing agent might want to do, is get, talk to you, call you and say, hey, Taylor, I'm selling my house. Is there issues with coverage?
Yes, and that's what I'm trying to tell agents. If your client is serious about something, call me, because if there's, we're can turn quotes around in non-brush areas pretty quick, but when it's a brush risk, it could take 2 weeks just to get quotes back.
And I'm sure that everybody understands that that's just the way it is, and the government just moves at their own pace, and they don't blame you at all.
Correct. And with the pool of carriers, of being a broker, I have a pool of carriers that I represent, and just like State Farm and some of the other companies, some of our carriers have pulled out of California. So my big pool has shrunk considerably. So when I have, a referral come in and we're going to market, I don't have that 10, 12 company market that I'm used to. It's maybe down to 2 or 3.
That's kind of when you take competition out, you can count on prices going up.
Correct.
When we come back, I want to chat with you because in the past you've had some great insight for us on strategies to mitigate water issues.
Correct.
So maybe you can share some of those when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. Also talk about newly built homes could be a game changer this spring. Save money by understanding how credit card interest works and more. Reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
79% of all credit reports have errors that should be corrected through factual disputing. You could be saving thousands every year if your report was accurate. CreditSanitizer.com provides a free credit report audit when you furnish a specific $1 credit report. You can use this information to request corrections to your report and potentially save thousands of dollars. Get your free credit audit at CreditSanitizer.com. That's CreditSanitizer.com for a free credit report audit. CreditSanitizer.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Let's take a look at newly built homes. Could be a game changer this spring. Buying a home this spring, you're probably navigating today's affordability challenges and dealing with the limited number of homes for sale. But what if there was a solution that could help you help with both? If you're having a hard time finding a home you love and mortgage rates are putting pressure on your budget, it may be time to look at newly built homes. Here's why. New home construction is an inventory bright spot. When looking for a home, you can choose between existing homes, those that are already built and previously owned, and newly constructed ones. While the number of existing homes for sale has increased this year, there are still fewer available than there were in more typical years in the housing market, like back in 2018 or 2019. So if you're looking to expand your pool of options even more, turning to newly built homes can help. As Danielle Hale, chief economist at Realtor.com explains, quote, the shortage of existing homes for sale has opened up the possibility of new home construction to more buyers who may not have once considered it, unquote. And the good news is there are more newly built homes to pick from right now. We got a graph we're going to show you that's data from the census to show how new home construction is ramping up in two key areas. So you can see in the graph the number of homes for sale since 2017, February of each year. And other than the unicorn years, we're down. The unicorn years, 2021, 2022, they were really down. 2024, 664,716 number of homes for sale. Go back to 2017, that was a low year as well. 1,151,000. So almost half where they were. Starts or homes where builders just broke ground have seen a big increase lately. And completions, homes that builders just finished, are also up significantly. So if you want a new move-in ready home or you want to get in early and customize your build along the way, you have more options right now. Builders are offering incentives to help with affordability and to sweeten the pot. Builders are offering things like mortgage rate buy-downs and other perks for home buyers right now. This can help offset today's affordability challenges while also getting you into your dream home. Mark Fleming, chief economist at First American, explains why you may find builders have more wiggle room to offer more for you than the typical homeowner. Quote, builders aren't rate locked in. They'd love to sell you the home because they're not living in it. It costs money not to sell the home. And many of the public home builders have said in their earnings calls that they are not going to be pulling back on incentives, especially the mortgage rate buy down. So that will help the new home market continue to perform well in the spring home buying season, unquote. An article from Housing Wire also says this about what builders are offering right now. Quote, the use of sales incentives still shows some momentum as 60% of respondents reported using them, up from 58% in February, unquote. Just remember, buying from a builder is different from buying from a home seller. So it's important to partner with a local real estate agent. Builder contracts can be complex. A trusted agent will be your advocate throughout the process. They'll be your go-to resource for advice on construction quality and builder reputation, reviewing and negotiating contracts to get you the best deal, helping you decide on which customizations and upgrades are most worthwhile, and a whole lot more. Remember, what is important to the builder? They want to maintain price. They'll do a lot of things other than give a price reduction. So you can get the incentive, pay a higher price, they're happy. get an incentive for them to pay down your interest rate 30 years for the entire term, not the 3-2-1 buy downs, the entire term. Get them to buy down the interest rate. Also, when you go talk to the builders, unless you've got your real estate professional with you, do not give them your real name. Mickey Mouse works really well. Why? Because once you go there and register with your name, if you're not with a real estate professional, then they're not going to pay that professional to assist you, to guide you, to counsel you. They're going to use their contract, which is made by their attorneys for their benefit. Just beware. Bottom line, if you're struggling to find a new home today to buy, or with today's affordability challenges, give me a call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Happy to chat with you. That is the real-time real estate segment brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Continue our conversation. Taylor Wilson, Williams Insurance, chatting about home insurance today. We've talked recently about life insurance, but now we're talking about the home insurance. And I can tell you firsthand, and I've got friends that have had the biggest problem. I've never, thankfully, I do have a friend that had their house burned down completely, but I've never had that myself. I've had the water issues. Hi, good morning, Alex. Glad to have you with us. I see you're here. And Taylor's come up with some really good strategies because you, historically, I don't know if you're still in that space, but historically you dealt with a lot of higher end properties.
Correct. Yep. Yes.
And, you know, if you have the supply line to the toilet in a high-end property is probably the same as the supply line to the toilet in a mobile home.
Correct.
And either way, when they burst, they cause a lot of problems.
That's correct.
In the mobile home, not quite as expensive to repair. In some of your properties, it's more than the cost of the mobile home.
It's a $5 part.
$5 part and a massive problem.
$100,000 loss.
So what are some of the things, some of the strategies that you're sharing with clients about, you know, avoiding this problem?
Well, a lot of companies right now, depending on the value of the home, in order to bind coverage, some companies are requiring the water flow alarm.
Okay.
And the water flow alarm is a device that's on that gets put on the water line at your house. And if there's a surge, you know, if a pipe breaks, there's a surge of water, the water just shuts off, you know. And so that is helping mitigate a lot of water losses. In fact, with Chubb and Cincinnati and Pure, on most of their homes that we have been binding the last year, they are requiring that as a deal that they have to put that on their home before.
Is that an expensive?
I had to do it on my home out the door. It was about right under $1,500 with the part and then the labor. And it doesn't matter the size of the house. You know, water line's your water line. So whether you have a 1,500 square foot home or a 10,000 square foot home, it's, you know, technically the same price.
Well, the price is the same, but there is that zip code pricing that sometimes gets involved.
Correct. But you do get, you know, it's like putting an alarm on a home or something like that. You do get you get a credit, you know, for having that. So, and then, you know, they have the same thing for the gas line. They have a earthquake seismic shutoff valve. So if there's an earthquake and the gas line breaks, then the gas shuts off and won't cause a fire.
Wow.
So you're looking, so you have a couple things that you can do. So if you have that water flow alarm, you technically won't have another water loss anywhere in the house.
Well, why would that be?
Because if your pipe breaks or that toilet leaks, it shuts the water off.
But it had to have the pipe already had to have broken.
Yes.
Before that happens. So you're still going to have something, but mainly you're going to have a flow of water, but you're not going to have, it's going to shut off at some point because once it reads that sudden flow, it'll shut off. So it may be that it's not worth it to file a claim at that point. You may still have a small damage.
You
might
could have
a carpet or something.
Exactly. And you might have to, some flooring, but that $1,000 or $2,000 or under $5,000 loss.
It's not going to be the $50,000 kitchen or
exactly, or $100,000, or if it's upstairs
right
and the water's going down the toilet, the second floor falls down into the first floor. That's seen that happen. So yeah, you're technically taking all that away. And
now the one that you talked about with the gas, does that only work in an earthquake?
Well, technically that's what they called for, but for some reason, if the gas line does break for another reason, it will shut off as well.
Okay, because actually, when we had a water leak, we were stuck at a hotel for about 3 months while they were repairing our house, supposedly.
Correct.
And so you end up at certain properties, half the people there, maybe more, are all there because the insurance company put them up.
Correct.
And we had somebody that actually they nicked their gas line when they put their trash cans away.
Mm-hmm.
And
So something like that, yes, that would cause that to shut the gas off.
okay,
And so mainly when you have an
their house burned down because of it. So that's,
correct, yeah. And so technically, when you have an earthquake, and the gas line, does break, then it just stops, from the house burning down. Now you only have a issue with the gas line instead of now with the house on fire and dealing with claims. So you're just trying these two things are just something to, help, you out. Yes, it does cost money, but it will pay for itself in the long run because you are avoiding two major issues with gas and water.
Now, what happens in the instance with the flow alarm? So there are some, and I'm assuming some of the properties that you insure,
yes,
as well as some multifamily, they're required to have sprinklers.
Correct.
Does the flow alarm bypass that?
Exactly. The sprinklers are on a whole different. That's a whole different deal. So if there is a fire, the water won't shut off for the sprinklers. That's on a separate line.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was curious because you can have a massive surge of water.
That's actually a really good question. So yes, that's on a whole different separate deal.
So it can save somebody a whole lot.
Correct.
Okay, so there's a few different options for you right there in dealing with water, because again, water to me, I don't know, you're the expert. Are there more claims for fire or water? Water
By far.
Now let's take it the next step, because in certain instances I've seen where if there's too many water damages, then you just can't even get insurance.
That's yes. I mean, we have companies. In fact, we had one come in last week. That 3 water losses, we were able to find them coverage. Now the premium's not
nice.
A
pretty premium.
It's not a pretty premium, but they're able to. They were getting non-renewed because they had 3 losses with their current company, and they did repipe because some people that have 1 or 2 water losses. Then the 3rd water loss, or even after the 2nd water loss, they do, repipe. So someone that does repipe the home, that does take into consideration talking to an underwriter that's like a remediation of a loss. So they will take that into consideration, because if you repipe, then any of those pipes that like slab leaks, it's gone. You don't have to worry about it anymore. So repiping after a couple water losses will help your cause to get decent insurance.
So as a strategy, you may want to repipe proactively.
Exactly.
If you have a water loss or 2, you may want to talk about repiping. And then even if you have, now will they go back on that policy that you had that got ugly in pricing?
Now, so they will. You still technically, if in this case you have 3 water losses, but they're gonna underwrite it different because you took care of the problem. But the water losses are still there. They're still, it's like your driving record. Your tickets are still there.
Okay.
But they're saying, he spent, I had to repipe. It was $10,000, 5 years ago. So, it's an expense, but the insurance company said, okay, they took care of the issue. So we'll be a little bit more lenient on offering coverage.
So number one, you'll get coverage or potentially, and you might get your money back after 3, 4, 5 years.
Exactly. It's going to pay for, like I said, it's the initial upfront kind of, $1,500 for the water flow alarm, $2,000 for the earthquake seismic shutoff valve, $10,000 to repipe. But knowing that the mind of ease that you're not going to have any more of those issues, it's
might be worth it.
Yep.
And so you got the benefits for your stress level. And the benefit of the insurance might be on your pocketbook as well. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, save money by understanding how credit card interest works. All that and more. Reach me anytime off air, number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We will be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Your Credit Matters segment today. I'm not going to get to the story we talked about because I talk too much, but we'll get to that tomorrow, I hope. Maybe not then either. We'll see. But I do want to tell you, if you've got credit card debt, auto loans, unsecured loans, private student loans, and you can't pay those off in the next 3 months, you need to take action right now because there may be some solutions for you. I just saw yesterday a report, the average household credit card interest rate, 22.84%. 22.84%. Let's see, if you've got a blended household interest rate, put 22.84 in there, and it's probably going to be less than the amount of your mortgage. If you got a 3% mortgage, you're up at 7, 8, 9% on the blended household interest rate. You might want to, there's the 3 different options there. You might want to look at the Home Select program from Geneva. That'll save you a boatload of money. You might want to look at a debt consolidation loan if you don't qualify for the Home Select. Debt consolidation, use some of your equity to pay that off. Those 2 don't work. Then we'll put you in touch with some of our debt counselors, and they'll help you renegotiate some of that debt. Usually they're going to get about 50% cut off of that debt. So you're going to get, and the interest cut dramatically. Yes, it costs money, but it will be a benefit to you in the long run. That is the Your Credit Matters segment brought to you by rsrdebtfree.com, rsrdebtfree.com. Continuing our conversation, Taylor Wilson, Williams Insurance. We're chatting about home insurance today. Covered a lot of ground. If you can't get insurance, call Taylor. It's like we got to go like go see Cal, right? If you can't get home insurance, call Taylor. If you have too many water leaks, call Taylor. If you want some easy ones, if you know you've got a nice simple policy, call Taylor.
You should, yeah. Should hire you.
Okay, so the condos, how are those fitting in with all this whole mess of people getting home insurance?
So the condo market is a little bit different than buying a home. I gave you 2 examples earlier. Newport Coast, Anaheim Hills had some condos referrals come in. The brush, and those are 2, Anaheim Hills, Newport Coast, 2 high brush zones, and the condos are being accepted because they're obviously it's the walls in. They're thinking, the insurance company's thinking there's
what is walls in? I'm a simple guy, Taylor.
I'm sorry, the walls in as so a condo policy. You have the for the insurance on a condo, you have the master policy, which is covered by the HOA. And what they call walls in on a condo is you're responsible for everything inside the condo, the betterments and improvements for the flooring, the kitchens, any upgrades, and then your personal property. So when you're going to buy a condo, that's what the kind of policy you're buying. You're not buying, you're not paying for the structure coverage. You're paying just for walls in for kind of, it's like a renter's policy.
Okay.
You're just, for your personal property.
So I heard a new one just recently, and it would be an area that you cover. I've never heard of this before, but it was in Coto de Caza,
Yes.
and one of the condo groupings in there. I don't know if it's all under one policy or one plan or whatever, but the condo that we were talking with, they actually switched it about a year ago that the homeowners are responsible for their own fire and all their coverage. The association doesn't pay for any insurance for them now.
Yes, and if that is the case, I have to get, some sort of documentation from whoever that is that stating that they need coverage for that. Because yes, we have written condos in the past where it's like kind of like a home, like a single family dwelling, where they have coverage for the structure and their personal property. So yes, that is common these days because I think you mentioned earlier about some of these HOAs don't have a policy.
They can't afford it.
They can't
anymore.
afford it, so.
Well, this particular one, it was in Coto, and actually, believe it or not, well, you believe it because you're in the business. I was surprised. So they ended up having to go with the two policies that you mentioned.
Correct.
They had to go with a fair plan for fire, and then go with the difference in conditions for the content.
Well, and then it also, it depends, if some of these condos, maybe they have one wall attached, it's just a condo with one wall and there's 2 units, but some of them, when you have 5 units attached and you're trying to get, these owners to get a homeowner's policy
They can get interesting, especially if you're the guy in the middle.
Exactly. So you might have 5 units and maybe only 2 of them have full coverage and the place burns down, and that just gets into and then you're like, who's rebuilding?
Right.
So
and as a lender, the lenders are looking at it and saying, okay, what's protecting our collateral?
Exactly. So that's when we have to get something written from the lender stating, hey, we need, we call it an HO3, which is for a single family dwelling, a policy. So yeah, we can do that all day long. It's just, it's a different way to do it. But if they're requesting it and it's legit, then yeah, we'll do it.
It's amazing how it's every industry has to get creative certain times.
Oh, I mean, it's like I tell, there's some people in my office, I go, you have to technically work these days.
Oh, surprise. I mean, how are you're really dealing with that?
So yeah, and get creative.
Surprise.
And get creative on what you want to do, because we get leads, multiple leads a day, all day long, 7 days a week. And some of these brokers would say, oh, if it doesn't fit into this little box, then we can't write it. But I tell our team, let's find a way. We can get it done. We're a broker. So might have to, look into some different avenues, but there's always a solution.
Might get embarrassing if somebody calls your office and one of the guys doesn't want to work that hard. And then they call the next guy on the yellow page. Yes, I'm old. I know the yellow pages. You Google another broker and they get it done. Well, what is that going to look like next time when it comes back to you?
And, make sure that we have to cover all our resources and actually get on the phone, talk to the underwriters, paint the picture, tell the story, and, let them know, why they should write the risk. And a lot of people don't do that. It's about picking up the phone these days and just, and talking to people, talking to underwriters and, and getting things done. That's how we separate ourselves, from other brokers where, we can get stuff done where other people can't.
Well, because you get the resources, you got the experience, you've got the time, the dedication, and the desire.
Correct.
Other than that, nothing. Got it all going.
I got nothing else to offer.
If you want to chat with Taylor Wilson, give me a call at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. I'd be happy to put you in touch. And as always, I ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Big thanks to Josh and Sean for engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.